Hey everyone, Eric again from LED Grow Lights Depot. This review will cover the commercial grade Mars Hydro FC8000 LM301B LED grow light. Stick around for the complete review and par testing along with my final thoughts and find out if Mars Hydro delivered on this light. Hit the like button and subscribe. Let's go. The FC8000 is one of many Mars Hydro fixtures in the newer FC bar style series. This series can be divided into two groups, the FC series and FCE series. The FCE series is almost exactly like the FC series except for the build, which is slightly modified, but more importantly, the diodes are different. The FCE series uses Bridgelux diodes which are less efficient and emit less light compared to the Samsung diodes on the FC series. The differences in power efficacy and light output between the FC and FCE series are pretty minute. Included in both series are the 3000, 4800, 6500, and 8000. The FC8000 is Mars Hydro's most powerful fixture, so let's dig in. The fixture arrives unassembled, so requires assembly before it's functional. It is made up of 8 passively cooled bars attached to 2 frame ends. It measures 45.3 by 45.3 by 3 inches and it weighs 26.5 pounds. The SOSIN driver and dimmer box rests on top of the bars. The DC cord connecting the driver and the light is quite long, which allows you to remote mount the driver and dimming box outside of the grow space. The dimming box allows smooth dimming from 100% to around 10% and off. The fixture comes with RJ cables which plug into the dimming box and enables you to daisy chain up to 30 lights on a single daisy chain. A NEMA 515P 120 volt style plug comes installed on the end of the AC power cord. This fixture can be used in home and commercial applications and comes with a 5-year manufacturer's warranty. The light is CE, ETL, DLC listed, and IP65 waterproof dustproof. The total light output stated by Mars Hydro is 2,309 micromoles per second with an efficacy of 2.9 micromoles per joule. Pretty impressive. This light output is enough to easily flower a 5x5 area at 12 to 24 inches. Mars Hydro states a power draw of 800 watts plus or minus 5% at the wall. At 113.8 volts, I received a reading of 781 watts with an amperage of 6.89. Expect around a 3.26 amperage draw on 240 volts. The fixture can be used in up to 277 volt applications. At full power, the fixture emits 2,728 BTUs per hour. The FC8000 uses 3000K and 5000K Samsung LM301B white diodes enhanced with Osram 660nm deep reds. This diode mix is quite popular in the industry. The total diode count is 2,968 diodes. You won't find any UV in the spectrum, but there is some far red in the spectrum from the white diodes. Expect a diode lifetime of around 50,000 hours. This spectrum is great for seed to harvest growth. The dimming control knob can be used to dim the fixture down for seedlings, clones, and veg. Crank it up to 75% to 100% intensity for flowering. Mars Hydro took par readings of the FC8000 in a 4x4 grow tent at 8 inches and 12 inches. You'll notice the high uniformity and PPFD. While the intensity is really good in this space, it may be too high for many growers, hence that's why we suggest using it in a 5x5 area or outside of a 4x4 tent. I also took par readings of the FC8000 in a 4x4 Gorilla Grow tent at 4 different distances. These measurements will show you the intensity and uniformity at different distances inside this tent, along with the light penetration that you can expect at the higher hanging heights. So let's take a look at those readings now. The first of 4 readings is going to be at 36 inches. And right in the middle, we're hitting about 910 ppfd. To the back, see that intensity holding, about 800. And into the corner, still holding pretty well, about 730. And this other side, about 750, 760. So good intensity at 36 inches. Could even flower at this height if you wanted to. This also shows you the penetration you'd be getting at about 36 inches into the canopy. So some really good numbers here. All right, next reading's at 24 inches. Looks like 1100 ppfd in the middle. And in the back, about 975. Corners, around 875. And about 716 on the sides there. So a little less uniformity, higher intensities at 24 inches. See, most of this area is just at about 1,000 ppfd, a little bit higher as you move towards the middle there. So this could be a good flowering height if you want to flower at pretty average intensities. And the next reading's at 18 inches, so starting to get into some really good numbers here, about 1260 in the middle, about 1084 in the back, about 975 in the corners, and this other side, about 1010 ppfd. So at 18 inches, looks like we're hardly getting below 1,000 ppfd with, I don't know, I'd say an average of maybe 1,100 or so throughout the tent. All right, and the last reading's at 12 inches. Check that out, about 1450 ppfd. And that's gonna hold pretty well to the back, about 1230. Corners are looking like about 1,100. And this other side, 1,150. So really good numbers here. I'd recommend flowering at this height if you really want to push your plants. Now you could see how that uniformity is pretty darn good in a 4x4 with this fixture. All right, and that just about sums it up. What are my final thoughts on the FC8000 LM301B? Well, it'd be best to divide this up into the pros and cons, and let's start with the cons. Some of these cons are not so bad, but just things worth pointing out that may differ from similar fixtures. 1. The light needs to be assembled. While this is not so much of a problem if purchasing one or a few fixtures, it can be time consuming to assemble several of these. There are other brands that also require you to assemble their lights, including ThinkGrow and PhotonTech, so assembling a light is not as rare as you might think. 2. The cord management is a little messy and unsightly. However, this doesn't affect the light performance, so is more of a cosmetic concern. The advantage of having each bar connected separately is that you're able to disconnect one or several bars to focus the light intensity at earlier growth stages. 3. The rubber ends on the frame of the fixture come off easily when setting up the light, particularly in smaller spaces as they can bump up against the walls or tent sides. Once the fixture is up, they stay put. 4. The driver and dimming box don't lock down on the bars. Also, there are plastic pieces that support the driver on the bars. Therefore, I recommend not angling the light when setting it up, but instead placing the driver on the fixture after it's set up to avoid the risk of the driver sliding off the bars. 5. Lastly, the PPF, par efficacy, and spectrum that Mars publish are slightly different than the DLC listing of this light. Mars states a PPF of 2,309, par efficacy of 2.9, and a big bump in blue on the spectrum chart. The DLC listing states a PPF of 2,255, par efficacy of 2.8, and a smaller bump in blue on the spectrum chart with a little more 660 nanometer red. The PPF is only a 2% difference, and it appears that the par efficacy was rounded up. Though a slight discrepancy, the specs are still very good, and I'm happy to see that Mars Hydro is now publishing these important specs. Now let's talk about the pros. My first impressions of this fixture were very positive. Mars Hydro has stepped up their quality with the FC series. The fixture quality is honestly quite good from the bars, frame, and down to the driver. They're using high-quality Samsung and Osram diodes with high light output and efficacy. They even increase their warranty to 5 years on all of their lights. 2. The bars can be adjusted to focus the light intensity more towards the center or towards the end. Most bar-style fixtures don't allow this maneuverability. 3. Lastly, the light fits nicely in a 4x4 tent with the bars extending to the end of the tent. The fixture has great intensity and uniformity in this space. As mentioned earlier, for some growers, the light output may be too much in a 4x4 tent, and therefore I suggest using this fixture in up to a 5x5 area. The FC6500 might be a better option for most growers growing in a 4x4 area. At the time of this review, the MSRP on the FC8000 is only $859.99. Contact LED Grow Lights Depot for quantity discounts. Overall, Mars Hydro has made an excellent light at a competitive price point, and I definitely recommend it for a 5x5 area, or smaller if you really want to push your plans. Check out the link to the FC8000 LM301B product page in the description to purchase this light or learn more. And support our channel by liking this video and subscribing if you want to see more content like this. Follow us on Instagram at LED Grow Lights Depot for LED grow light giveaways, sales, and more. We give away lights often, so check us out there. Link below. Till next time.